Lord Dwarkadish exhibit his opulence at Dwarka with 16,000 queens, and it is understood that he built a palace for each and every queen. And the palaces were made with jewels and stones, so that there was no necessity for artificial light in the palaces. Haribol. I remember, visiting in Jaipur, Rajasthan, that how the king were living so opulently. We think that we are rich. Just compare with those lifestyle if you have seen it. It says the queen, when she take a bath, then she had to stand in one of the separate room. Well, all the different fragrant perfume will be sprayed automatically by standing on the pedestal. And then they come out and wear whatever the ornaments. But what a opulent life was there in India. Haribol. So your conception of building a temple of Lord Krishna is in opulence. But we are residents of Vrindavan, and Vrindavan has no palaces like your Dwarka. Vrindavan is full of forest and cows on the bank of Yamuna. And Lord Krishna, in his childhood, played the part of a cowherd boy without any royal opulence as you people, the inhabitants of Dwarka, are accustomed. So when the Dwarka Valas meet the Vrindavan Valas, there may be a via media. With Sir Padmapat's Dwarka Lila wealth and Srila Prabhupada Vrindavan Lila devotion, Lord Krishna, the Lord of both Vrindavan and Dwarka, could be properly worshipped. Haribol. January 21st. He received Bon Maharaj a reply. 2 weeks before, Prabhupada had returned to his godbrother, the director of the Institute of Oriental Philosophy in Vrindavan, and that he had found a place for a temple in New York, and that he wanted to install deity of Radha and Krishna. In his reply, Bon Maharaj quoted price estimates for 14-inch brass deities of Radha Krishna. But he also warned that to begin deity worship would be a heavy responsibility. And Srila Prabhupada responded as follows. I think that after the temple has started, some men, even from America, may be available. As I see, they have at the Ramakrishna Mission, as well as in so many yoga societies. So I'm trying to open a temple here because Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted it. Prabhupada also requested Bon Maharaj assistance in getting the government to sanction release of the money he felt Padampat Singhania would donate. He mentioned that he had carried on an extensive personal correspondence with the Vice President of India, Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was also known to Bon Maharaj. Tell him that it is not an ordinary temple of worship, but an international institute for God consciousness based on the Srimad Bhagavatam. January 22nd. While Srila Prabhupada prayed to receive Radha Krishna in New York, a snowstorm hit the city. That morning, Srila Prabhupada, who had perhaps never before seen snow, woke and thought that someone had whitewashed the side of the building next door. Not until he went outside did he discover that it was snow. The temperature was 10 degree, Haribol. It's in Houston right now, 32, Haribol. The city went into a state of emergency, but Prabhupada continued his daily walks. Now he had to walk through heavy snow. Only a thin dhoti beneath his overcoat, his head covered with his Swami hat. The main roads were clear, but many sidewalks were covered with snow. Along the strip of the park dividing Broadway, the gusting winds piled snowbanks to shoulder height and buried the benches. Haribol. The Broadway kiosk, plastered with layers of posters and notices, were now plastered with the additional layer of snow and ice. But despite the weather, New Yorkers still walked their dogs. The pets now wearing raincoats and mackinaws. Such pampering by American dog owners left Prabhupada with a feeling of surprise amusement. As he approached West End Avenue, he found the doorman blowing whistle to signal taxis as usual, but also scattering salt to melt the ice and create safe sidewalk in front of the buildings. In Riverside Park, the benches, pathways, and trees were glazed with ice and gave off a shimmering reflection from the sky. Yesterday I was seeing when the beautiful sunshine came, all this ice that we had, so sparkling, like gems is shining there. So beautiful. The newest Selective Service official announced the first substantial increase in the drop since the Korean War. A month-long peace ended with the US Air Force bombing North Vietnam. The New York transit strike ended after 3 weeks, and the transit labor leader died in jail of a heart attack. January 38th. The East Coast was hit by severe blizzards. 7 inches of snow fell on the city, with winds up to 50 miles an hour. The city of New York offered warm rooms and meals for people living in tenements without heat. JFK Airport was closed, as were train lines and roadways into the city. For the second time within 8 days, a state of emergency was declared because of the snow. As a lone individual, Srila Prabhupada could not do anything about the snow emergency or the international welfare. He saw these as mere symptoms of the age of Kali. Always there would be misery in the material world. But if he could bring Radha and Krishna to a building in New York, nothing was impossible for the Supreme Lord. Even in the midst of Kali Yuga, a golden age could appear and people could get relief. If American could take to Krishna consciousness, the whole world would follow. Seeing through the eyes of the scripture, Srila Prabhupada pushed on through the blizzard and pursued the thin trail for support of his Krishna conscious mission. February 4th. He wrote again to Tirtha Maharaj, who had agreed to tie for the government sanction if he first received written confirmation from a responsible donor pledging the fund for a temple. Prabhupada informed him that the donor would be Sir Padampat Singhania, and he enclosed Mr. Singhania's favorable letter of the 14th. Prabhupada reminded his godbrother as follows. Sri Srila Bhaktisiddhanta wanted such temples in foreign cities like New York, London, Tokyo, etc. And I had personal talk with him when I first with him at Pultadanga in 1922. Now here is a chance for me to carry out his transcendental order. I'm just seeking your favor and mercy in making this attempt successful. February 5th, discouragement came to the plans Srila Prabhupada had formed around the promise of support by Padampat Sanghania. The Dwarkawala wrote to express his dissatisfaction with the 72nd Street building. Haribo. How does he know? Haribo. He wrote, I'm afraid that I cannot agree with your suggestion that you should buy a small house and erect something on the top of it. Unfortunately, such a kind of proposal will not suit me. The temple must be a small one, but it must be constructed properly. I quite agree that you cannot spend a lot of money at present, but within the amount the government may sanction, you should build something according to the architecture of Indian temples. Then only we will be able to create some impression on the American people. This is all I can write to you in this connection. I'm very grateful for your taking the trouble of writing me. Prabhupada did not take this letter as final. He maintained hope that Sir Padampat Sanghania would still give money for the temple, if only the transfer of money could be arranged. He continued writing his godbrothers and other devotees, asking them to try to secure the government sanction. He maintained his same aspirations, even though his sole prospective donor had rejected his scheme of a chakra and a dome atop a conventional two-story building. Prabhupada was really modern thinking. February 15th, he moved from room 501 downstairs, 2 floors, to a room all his own. I have changed my room to room number 307 in the same building as above mentioned, for better air and light. It is on the roadside junction of 2 roads, the Columbus Avenue and 72nd Street. According to Dr. Mishra, Prabhupada moved in order to have his own place, independent of the Mishra Yoga Society. February 16. Prabhupada wrote to the proprietor of the Universal Bank House of Bombay, giving some hint of selling his Srimad Bhagavatam in the Bombay area. He explained that he was trying to establish a Radha Krishna temple and that, quote, a big industrialist of India has promised to pay for the cost, unquote. Yes, Prabhupada just got the $110,000 pledge, but Prabhupada take it so boldly. Since it seems that might stay in the United States for many more days, he wanted the book house to take increased charge of selling his book throughout India. They were his agent for selling his books in Maharashtra. But now he recommends that they take the responsibility in all provinces and introduce his books in colleges and universities throughout India. He also requested that they credit his bank account there for the books sold so far. So punctual. February 26th. Mr. A.P. Darwadkar of the Universal Book House replied as follows. Haribol. I think we just read this and then we will stop. I cannot give you very happy news on the progress of the sale of Srimad Bhagavatam because the subject is religious and only a small section of society may personally be interested in the books. We try to push them through some booksellers to Nagpur, Ahmedabad, Pune, etc. But regret to inform you that after some time these booksellers return the books for want of response. As such, we are not only unenthusiastic to agree to your proposal of taking up sales for all India, but we were just thinking of requesting you to nominate some other people in our place to represent your sale program in Maharashtra. Very well. Backing out. So far, there's only 6 sets of his books, for which they were about to transfer 172 rupees to his account. This was highly encouraging to the author. Again, India was not interested. Even in the land of religion, the religious subjects were only for a small section of society. So I think the time has come, 6:55. We should be punctual. Knowing this life of Srila Prabhupada, at least we should do something to assist Srila Prabhupada movement. Whatever the ability Krishna has given us, I think we should fully utilize in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and dear Srila Prabhupada, so we can get the mercy, and then our life will become successful. Only by serving the Vaishnava, great Vaishnava is the only hope we have in this material world. Otherwise, everything keep on changing. Everything will keep on changing. And there is no fixed time will come that we will feel, oh, now is my time to absorb in chanting the holy name. That will never happen. I always play the flute on the altar when I paint the deities to remind me of that I'm in Vrindavan. And my godbrother, he's the first God disciple in America of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. His Guru Jai Baldev Prabhu. He always played that class of my Guru Maharaj. But he never tell me to turn down my musics, even though we side by side dressing. I paint Nila Madhava and he worship small Gonitai. So in the class also Tamal Krishna Maharaj was telling his disciple, when you feel weak, that you cannot fully concentrate at chant 16 rounds early in the morning, please call me. This is the duty of a spiritual master, to assist his disciple to remain fixed in the devotion. And he said, I will answer each and every call, anybody call, and I will help you to become strong in devotional life. What a great sacrifice, huh? Similarly, we see Niranjan Swami Maharaj, that he will, even though somebody has taken initiation, knowing that they are not chanting nicely, he will tell them to reduce to 12 rounds, 8 rounds, even 4 rounds a day, but chant with full attention. Unless and until we make a suitable place to chant, always the things is destructive. So I highly recommend not where you do other business, But find some place in your house or make something nice, one room for chanting your japa room. Because so many of you had more bedroom than the person lives in the house anyway. So we should have very nice room for chanting the holy name with so many nice scriptural reference, pictures, some remnants of the great Mahatma has given you. Keep those things very live in front of you when you chant the holy name. My Guru Maharaj has the table like this that I use it. And he used to say that this is the fence around your devotion. That even if your mind go out from the Mahamantra, you will see nothing but Nrsingadev, lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Many wonderful pastime of Radha and Krishna, Guru Parampara, Krishna Balaram, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, and the how can I forget the name? Govardhan Parvat. Haribol. So mind will stay within the boundary line of devotional life. So if you have not created a room, I highly recommend that create something that soothes your mind and heart. And if nothing happens, then cover your body with the quilt so there is no distractions. Because I think the Mahamantra that we should meditate by this time, I request everyone that whatever the format of the Mahamantra that you like it, or has been instructed by some higher authority, if you are lucky, then meditate that form of the holy name before you go to sleep. And it should become impregnate in your mind and heart, that when you close your eyes, you should see that wonderful Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you have not done that homework, please do so. Because who knows how long we are going to have our vision? You never know. Tomorrow we may get into the car wreck and we may lose our eyesight. Don't depend on anything. Just prepare your mind and body. In all circumstances, worst circumstances, we have to prepare ourselves. How I'm going to remember Krishna? Make the plan for it. If you don't make any plan, nothing will happen. Day goes, sun rises and sunset, and we lose our life expectancy. That's all we are doing. We are losing our life expectancy. We are getting old and old. Like I was reading other day that when you are over 70s, every step you take, you have to think about it and then take it, because if you fell down, there is no way your bone will recover. So we have to prepare for our old age and disease that may come. And death is definitely going to come. So I attended the funeral and I always put my body into the casket that this is how it will end, the life. And we people are so bad that when the people are living, we cannot appreciate them. But when they die, we will come up with so many nice writing about that person. Haribol. Why can't we deal with it while they are living, rather than glorify them when they are not present? So this is the lifestyle we have chosen.